Hello, welcome to my house. My name is Tim Burbage. This is Tim Burbage Reads, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my TBR for August 2024. So we are going on holiday to Japan and Hong Kong and Shanghai for a little bit for the second half. So actually, book-wise, it's very small because I'm going to take my Kindle with me and do mostly ebooks. Just so the suitcase is going to be so filled with presents and toys and clothes and things coming back. So yeah, just need as much space as possible. So the first book that I'm planning to read, first book, is Hangover from this month, from July. I haven't gotten to it, but that's because I may have be reading something else instead at the moment. But that is The Long Earth by Terry Pratchett and Stephen Baxter. So this is the first in the Long Earth series. I think there's 5 books, I want to say, in this series, which I now can't find, but that's okay. This seems to kind of cover 2 different time periods. One of them is the First World War. The other one is modern times when it was written. This is 2015. So I've read Discworld by Terry Pratchett. I've read a few books. I've probably read about 10 or 12 books. I read a load when I was a teenager. I haven't read any of Stephen Baxter. So I bought this for me as a gift. So I'm looking forward to reading it. Now into the Kindle space, so I don't have anything to physically show you. The first is Silverthorn by Raymond E. Feist. This is book 2 in the Rift War cycle, or saga, or both, whatever. So I read Magician earlier in the year, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was messy and a bit crazy and kind of broke a lot of the rules of fantasy literature, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it took really big swings, which I quite liked. So I thought I would try and set myself a target of maybe finishing the Rift War cycle, which I think is the first trilogy of books, finishing that this year. So I'm going to read Silverthorn, which is the second one. I know nothing about it, but I know I have it because I bought the first trilogy on my Kindle. So I'm looking forward to reading it. The third book is the next in my Jack London challenge. That is The Iron Heel by Jack London. So this one, I started reading this month by accident because I've got, on my Kindle, it's the collection of like all of Jack London's stories. So I finished the previous one, and then it was White Fang, so I skipped White Fang, and I accidentally skipped Before Adam as well, which I've just read. So I had to kind of go back and read that. So I read the first chapter, I think, of The Iron Heel, and I love, again with Jack London, I love the framing narrative. This book is set way in the future, and it's like looking back a historical record from our near future, and I think it's about like someone either standing up against or creating like a totalitarian regime, the Iron Heel, that I think is like pushed upon people. What a great framing narrative. I really like that. So I'm looking forward to reading that. The next is we are going to Japan, and I'm looking to, I found on Kindle for free, it's a classic, the Tales of Old Japan by someone called Algernon Bertram Freeman Mitford. As you can tell, that person is not Japanese from that name. It's written in like late 19th century, I think. And it's a collection of Japanese fairy tales translated. Or not fairy tales, but like stories, and it's like short stories, which I think will be good because I won't be reading a ton on holiday, so it'll be nice to be able to read like, I'll read this bit, it's like 20 pages or whatever. So, and famous stories like the 47 Ronin, which I've heard of, that's the first story in there, and there's a few others which I haven't heard of, so I'm looking forward to reading it. And that'll help, get me more into the Japanese culture. And the 5th and final book is my mystery book. So this is part of the collection that my wife has put together for the year, where we've got books from friends and family and from my own house, and wrap them up so I get a new present every month. It's a complete mystery for me. This is a short one. I think Leanne made it a short one because we were going on holiday. Let's find out what it is. So here we go. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, okay, I recognise this. This is from inside our house. You recognise it. It's quite a interesting colour scheme, so you'd remember it. It is Mary Poppins by P.L. Travers. So what's the note inside? Adventure time from School Book Sharing Swap. P.L. Travers was born on the 9th of August in 1899. So she was almost my birthday. So when Jane and Michael Banks draw up an advertisement for a nanny, Mary Poppins arrives on a gust of the east wind and slides up the banister, changing their lives forever. Their wonderful new nanny is strict but fair and full of surprises. Soon the Banks children are whisked off on the most exciting and magical adventures they have ever had. But Mary Poppins has only promised to stay until the wind changes. So Mary Poppins is one of my favourite films growing up. I think it is, even though the film is from like the 60s, I think it's still cinema magic. Because it's all practical and, you know, her sliding up the banister, them getting stuck on the ceiling, all kinds of stuff. So there's 12 chapters in here. You've got the Bird Woman, other things like Laughing Gas, Full Moon, Christmas Shopping. So I know the film, like, I think each chapter is kind of like a little adventure short story. I know that P.L. Travers was famously difficult to work with. I think that's one way of describing it. It's covered in the Saving Mr. Banks film with Emma Thompson and Tom Hanks. So yeah, this is one that I already had. I think we got it from the school. Like my kid's school has got like a little cabinet, and you open it and you put a book in and you take a book out, like a lending library. So it's from there. So yeah, 2 books, 3 on the Kindle. None of them are chonkers because we're going on holiday, so I'm not going to have as much time to read. I might take Memoirs of a Geisha with me to see if I can kind of kick in, because I've taken a bit of a break from that. I'll cover that in a reading wrap-up that I will eventually record at some point, maybe. It was going to be like, a month, a wrap-up of 1 month, and then, a wrap-up of 2 months, and now it'll be a wrap-up of 3 months, which will be like a quarter. So anyway, if you've read either of these, or if you've read The Iron Heel, Tales of Old Japan, or Silverthorn by Raymond E. Feist, let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up. If you like this, please give me a subscribe. I'm up to 120 subscribers now, or something like that. I've started doing 1-minute book reviews as shorts to see what that does. We'll see if that keeps going. And I'll see you in the next one. And get out of my house!